Welcome to the Back 9 Six-Pack with Mitch and Justin. Let's roll.
Hello and welcome to episode 44 of the Back 9 Six-Pack. My name is Mitch, joined as always by my esteemed colleague Justin. You've got a Kroger bag with 4 Miller Lights in it. You must be feeling better.
We are fucking back. I do want to offer apology. Last week was not indicative of the product that we want to put out. But when you are a player of my caliber, and I'm talking about drinking, you expect about 4 to 5 of those days a year. It was bad luck on our end that one of those happened to fall on a Monday. Probably the last one to fall on a Monday. So, as my boss, I'm sorry that will never happen again. Hopefully.
You just said to expect a few of these days a year, but told me it would never happen again.
On a Monday. You know what I mean? So,
okay, yeah.
I mean, Super Bowl Sunday, that was the Monday after the Super Bowl, and I feel like that's probably the only time it would happen. The only one we really kind of have to maybe squeeze past is the Sunday of the Stampede going into Monday.
I mean, depending on if we do Master Sunday Party again, and depending on how that goes.
Yeah, there's a couple Sundays we probably got to skirt past.
There's a few you got to dodge, but for the most part, I think you're right.
But how the turntables.
The turns of tables. Man, Guenth's party on Saturday, it got me, for sure.
I knew you guys were getting out over the skis by 7:15.
Yeah.
And I wasn't even there.
I mean, look, he made a cooler of snow on the back porch. That just gives you any idea of what we were dealing with. Picture. I mean, that just set the tone. Shout out to Chandler. Obviously, this is a very pro Chandler podcast.
Oh, we might be her biggest fans, actually.
Yeah. We said it before. We'll say it again. A pro's pro. The charcuterie board, I was in my element.
Yeah, I saw.
Yeah. And the bourbon got to flowing like it was water. And
looks like she was I know she's a magnificent host, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Top notch.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Gus is a king, truly.
He is. Yeah, oh yeah, he's great. We've been over that when they were in their condo and stuff. Like he's a great dog. He is. He's like, yeah. I know everybody says that about their dogs, but this is coming from not his owner. He is a great dog.
Yeah. So we took it deep early. Still somehow, I don't know how we decided to go out or whatever. Things got a little, things are spotty from that point on. We'll say that.
I'll tell you from the snaps when I saw you guys going down, I'm like, this is not going to be good tomorrow morning.
I don't know how far we walked, but it felt like
miles.
And then we get there to the first bar we were going to go to because the one place we wanted to go to was they were closing in like 10 minutes or something, you know.
I would guess, but based on the time I got these snaps, yeah, I would guess they were probably about to close.
No, these were they were closing like around midnight. It wasn't like...
Well, I was laying in bed when I got these snaps, by the way, and okay. I don't normally lay down before 11:30, so it was probably somewhere between 11:30 and 12.
We got to this one bar, the bartender wouldn't let us order, and he's like, you can do one shot, basically is what he told everybody. So we were like 8 or 10 people deep rolling into this place.
Yeah.
So we do a shot. Don't even remember what it is or what it was. I think it was watermelon flavored of some kind.
Oh, God. Oh, no.
Then we leave there and walk backwards towards the house to a different spot. I didn't order a drink there at all. Susie and I left and went home. Other people stuck around. Other people wound up at other bars after. It was a tough scene. So long story short, you have a beer to crack. And I do not.
You
can go ahead.
Oh, man. Not many beers that I've had. We talked about it before we came on. I've really kind of made my way into tequila sodas. Look, I enjoy my beer, but for this body, you don't get this body by drinking a bunch of beer.
Okay. So I've got 32 ounces of water. Let's see how many I get through by the end of this show tonight.
Yeah, I'm curious.
I will say, I've talked about it before on this. One of my goals is to do 3 months of sobriety throughout the year. Look, I'm trying to front load, so I'm going to take this window from like now until mid to late March. We're going to count that 30-day window as a month.
This sounds so complicated.
I know, but we're going to count that. It's going to be a check mark. But that way, when I get, to the back 9 of the year, analogies, the 6-packs will be free and flowing, Once we're in a golf season is when I need to be able to imbibe, to partake.
As someone that is a week out from telling myself that I wasn't going to drink for another month, you're setting yourself up for failure.
I mean,
I'm just letting you know. Because, I what was not told last week is I had a tapeworm in my stomach. I found out later that week, or literally the next day, I got ringworm. I was a mess, and I told myself, I'm like, dude, I'm not drinking again, for at least another 2 weeks. That lasted until Friday.
Yeah,
because I was just like, oh, I feel fine now. I'm gonna have a couple drinks.
See, it's very black and white for me. I'm gonna say I'm gonna do this, and I will do it. That's the thing.
Yeah.
We're cut from different cloth.
You do have a little more self-control when it comes to stuff like that.
A smidge more.
just a tad.
Smidge.
Just a tad. But no, I knew you guys were not going to be feeling well on Sunday. And part of me, I swear I was laughing when you guys were talking about being super hungover because I was not on Sunday. And I was just like, it made me feel good. I'm sorry, but it did.
I knew I was in trouble when I got home from Zach's basketball game in the afternoon and we got cooled down for a nap, decided to get on our bike just to be like, all right, I need to move because I did not sweat.
Oh no.
I don't.
The no sweat workout is a key indicator that you are extremely hungover.
Yeah, it was there was nothing to sweat. Just straight up. So, yeah,
that's bad.
Pure hydration.
And I feel like on a bike, you sweat more. Is that just me? Because there's certain things that you do, like lifting weights. I sweat a little, but it's not always cardio. I'm definitely going to sweat. But, even running on a treadmill, I feel like I don't sweat as much. Ride a bike, dude, I'm pouring sweat. So, to me, the fact that you were riding a bike and did not sweat that's tough.
I think the stair climber is the worst.
Yeah, that's probably worse. That's probably the most sweat. Yeah. And then it's bike and then treadmill and then...
Actual running is probably first or second for me. That makes me sweat a lot.
Yeah, and when it's colder outside, I feel like you... Is that weird? I feel like when you run in colder... Maybe you feel it more. You know what I mean? Because it's the cold and the sweat, and you're you feel how much you're actually sweating. Where in the summer, you're just I'm drenched. You don't actually feel how much is there.
Yeah, that could be true.
Yeah, but that's bad though. You get on a bike and don't sweat. That's not good.
No, wasn't good.
And at that point, just pounding water is just going to do you really no good. I mean, it's going to get you back tomorrow, but getting you back today, what you're trying to do, is just it's not going to happen.
Yeah, and I didn't go the grease route. I didn't go, I didn't do any of the things to try to actually cure the hangover. The tried and true methods of the past, typically I'd be look, I never drink pop, but for whatever reason, Sprite helps calms my stomach down after I've been drinking. I didn't get a burger, didn't get pizza, the greasy breakfast, none of that.
I've reached the conclusion though, as we get older, that if you're get to that point of being that hungover, there's truly no way back for that day.
Oh no.
You can do the grease thing and go work out and this there's just truly just chalk it up as a loss and move on to the next day.
That's why I'm sitting here today the way I am, because it's dude. At 34, it's a 2-day hangover.
It is. Yeah. I get that. I get that. Yeah. That Tuesday last week was still not good for me. I was still kind of a mess. I mean, I had other things going on, but that was still a mess. It's definitely a 2-day process now, and there's really, if you're that hungover, there's truly no road in that day to get back.
No, they always say the only true cure for a hangover is time.
Time, or if you're really trying to be, it's a Sunday though, in your case, I don't know if the beer route would probably have been best. Because then your today would have been just completely wrecked.
Yeah, no.
You're kind of kicking the can down the road when you do that.
Yeah.
Well,
the other thing I was going to say about Guenth's party that I learned, because a lot of the people that were there were going to be on the bachelor party trip with us.
Oh man, I'm so sad I missed that then.
One, it's going to be a blast. 2, I think it's going to be a tightrope walk, and we're going to have to band together on this one.
Do I need to wear my identification bracelet in case of emergency?
But I text you guys because I've been dubbed the water guy for Guenth because, look, it's been documented. He said it himself before. Notoriously horrible hungover person. So he's
so
requested
bad.
that I feed him waters as much as I can on this trip. And I got to tell you, it's going to be a lot bigger challenge than I was expecting.
And it's so funny because he already hinted at, because I told him I was drinking tequila sodas now when I'm drinking publicly to hydrate myself as I drink. And I think he called it a diabolical plan to try to convince yourself that soda water is going to keep you hydrated enough. I think there's going to come a time on that trip that I'm going to try to convince him that this is the road forward. We'll see. But I'm truly if those people that were at the party are going to be on this trip, I am truly worried.
Oh, it'll be all right.
I mean, it's going to be fun, but I'm truly worried we're going to lose somebody.
No, it'll be fine. We've got enough people, and it's like a good. The other thing too is just like, somebody is a good person when you go hang out with like their full friend group, and you just like get along with everyone.
Yeah, that's nice.
And I think that's what Gunt's friend group says about him, even with us included in that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, like his other friends that maybe we don't really know,
you don't
that,
really
well.
know that well.
Like they're like, oh, okay, they're kind of the same people as we are.
Yeah, they're easy to hang out with, get along with, and they'll also have your back if something's going.
Yeah, no douchebags or anything like that. Yeah,
it'll be a blast.
All right, well, I'm looking forward to it. I really need to prep myself for that trip. I feel like it's going to be a training method up to that point.
Yeah, April's going to be an important month
to
get ready for May. Yeah.
It's like the last month before a marathon.
Exactly. You gotta build the miles. Build the miles up. All right. Thanks for listening. Please subscribe, rate, review the show. Follow us on social media at Back96Pack. Justin just had an awesome course recap, review, whatever you want to call it, about the place you played in Cabo.
Puertos Los Cabos. I can actually say it this week. Yeah, go check it out. I think I did a relatively good job.
Yeah, and you definitely did not oversell the views. They looked immaculate.
Oh, I mean, sure. when you're seeing whales from one of the tee boxes, like blowing, water up, like that, to me, that's automatically qualifies you in like the top 3 or 4 views. Like,
I mean, the deep blue that you get in the Pacific, like when it's sunny and stuff out there. Oh, just the color.
Well, so what I didn't know when I went out there is, how you get that color. So about 30 feet to 40 feet off of the shore, like off the beach, it's a direct drop.
Yeah.
So that's why you get those like deep, like everybody's like, well, it's not blue like the Caribbean. It's like, well, the Caribbean water's 8 feet deep.
Right.
Like you're talking about like it's blue. It's just, you literally go 1,000 feet deep as soon as you get 40 feet off the shore.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So it's just wild to think about.
Yeah. Well, it's somewhat of a transition into golf. So happy Valentine's Day to me. I got the full-on green light for the irons.
So when are we doing the fitting is the real question.
I got to reach out to Sean. So this is the next segment's going to be talking about me getting an iron fitting for a couple of reasons.
I was going to say, what's the process behind this?
Yes. All right. So let's start at the beginning here. I've never owned a set of irons that have been fit to me.
I thought I remember you saying that when you've been talking about this.
I've just kind of
like off the rack.
The set that I own now, I bought because I had like a 50% off discount when I was working at Golf Galaxy through TaylorMade.
Yep.
And I just bought them like standard stock, whatever. The ones before that were a used set that I bought at Meadowlinks, but I loved them. They're Titleist 735s. Okay. Like I said, none of these have ever been fit to me.
Just
playing with them, whatever.
Rack clubs.
Essentially. So yeah, we're going to go through the full process. I'm going to do it right. I brought up the 735s because I think I'm going to go back to Team Titleist.
I was going to ask that because I do remember those Titleist clubs.
Yeah.
It's been a while, but I was going to say, do you have any biases going in as far as like, I like this, I don't like that? Because I tried to have an open mind. I'm like, okay, I'm going to hit every iron just to see. I think you have to do that because you can. right? Like where you're going to go. They have every iron on the market. I think you need to go. I think you need to have. I truly believe the best way to go into a fitting is to have biases towards clubs that you want, and then hit everything. But I think if you have an open mind too, like you'll be like you may end up finding something you like more. You know what I mean? But I truly believe to this day that the best irons on the market are Titleist, TaylorMade, and then everybody else is kind of in Mizuno, and then everybody else is kind of a second tier behind them. That's my honest opinion.
Right. I don't think I would go into the, there's some irons that just sort of have a reputation for like the way that they're built or like how like Mizuno is in that category.
They're just good clubs.
I feel like PXG they've at least marketed themselves in that category. I don't know who else would be in that, but like, I'm not going to get like one of those sort of like secondary but like elite brands.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't think you could go wrong if you just stay in the TaylorMade Titleist.
Yeah, so I own the ones I have now are TaylorMades. They're fine. They've been good. But like I said, I always loved the look and the feel of my Titleist back in the day.
Yeah. And they look and feel better now.
And that's what I'm kind of thinking and expecting. Yeah. So like my lean is that between what club head, I don't really know. I'm probably looking at the T series if I had to guess.
Yeah.
But there's like the 100, the 150, the 2. Like there's
and I'll be honest, I haven't been fitted for clubs in like 4 years, and since they came out with the T series, I have AP2s. I don't know I knew the difference between the AP1 to blah blah blah. I don't know the difference between the T1 to 152.
Frankly, neither do I. And I would be open to like the idea of a mixed set because I know a lot of you can.
Yeah,
do that with
I wish when I did my AP2s, because I was transitioning from muscleback, I wish I had done that.
Yeah.
Honest, just full disclosure. I wish I'd have gone. I wish I had
like
gone muscleback. I wish I'd have gone muscleback like pitching wedge through 8 and then like 7 through 4 because I carry a 4 iron, like as the AP2.
Yeah. So needless to say, I want to be in the Titleist bucket. I think if I'll still hit the TaylorMade, I might even hit the Callaway, whatever, just to see. But I think I'm going to end up back in Titleist. And I just want to see what I don't care what the club head is, like whatever one I'm hitting the best is what I'm going to go with.
Yeah, and I think it's like hitting the best, and I truly and this is like every club in the bag. Looking down at it is a big that's my big thing. Like
Same.
I have to be able to look down at the club and go, I like this.
Yep.
Because think about it. Like that's the only time you're going to see the club, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have to like what you're looking at when you're looking down on the ball.
Yeah. So that's where I'm starting now. In terms of the actual fitting, so I want to do it as soon as possible, frankly, just so I can get the clubs in as soon as I can.
Yeah, I think if you did it now, you'd probably have them by April.
Yeah, I'm hoping to get them before we get into actual like
golf.
Yeah, and I want to be able to take them to Chicago because we're playing there. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Weather though, like, should I be worried that it's like 40 degrees outside?
No, the only thing this time of year, because the only time I've ever been fitted is like this time of year.
Yeah.
Is if you haven't hit a lot of balls.
That's the thing.
I would definitely suggest before, and I'm not talking like an hour before go hit balls. I'm talking like a couple times leading up to it, go hit balls.
Right.
So you can at least get into a feel of like making a golf swing for like a whole week, and then you go get fitted.
Yeah.
Like obviously you're not going to go and get like 2 or 3 lessons and then go get fitted.
No.
It's just not going to happen. But I definitely suggest hitting balls a couple times before you go get fitted.
Yeah. Okay.
Like in a week span, just hit balls twice in a week and then go get fitted. You just don't want to like roll in there and like I haven't hit a golf ball in 2 months, and then
I know,
and then all of a sudden you're getting fitted, and it's not that it's not going to matter much, but you do want to go and like actually hit the ball solid to see how they feel, right?
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to have like your own biases and sloppy play impact to the actual fitting.
Yeah. Yep.
Anything that I should pay attention to, watch out for?
I think the biggest thing for me is just, and Sean's really good about this. So I've been fitted by not Sean and like someone that's like actually trying to sell clubs. Sean's very good at being like, I'm going to put this shaft in this. This is an upgraded shaft. So if you fall in love with it, I warned you, kind of like I warned you before doing this kind of thing. And that doesn't necessarily matter. There are upgraded shafts for irons, But like not getting fitted with him, when I went somewhere else, like it was like they were it felt like every iron shaft. And I kind of know at the time when I did this, I kind of knew which ones were the upgrades and which ones weren't. Mm-hmm. And like the first 5 I hit were all upgraded shafts. Like it was almost like he was trying to bamboozle me into doing an upgraded shaft.
Sure.
But that is a big one. Just know that like if you try out an upgraded shaft and you fall in love with it, like it's a pretty substantial markup. It can be. Irons are probably, I think the last time I saw it's like $20 a club upcharge. Drivers can be up anywhere between like $175 and $300 for an upcharge. But that's the biggest thing that I always worry about when I've gotten fitted for clubs. I'm like, fuck, I'm going to hit a shaft and it's going to be an extra $175,
right,
kind of thing. But that's the biggest thing, I think.
I'm a little not concerned, but like the gapping situation, because right now I have 3 wedges. I have a 50, 54, 58. So like making sure that whatever the pitching wedge that comes with the set.
Yeah, and that's a big thing now because obviously, I mean, how old are your clubs now? How many years old? Probably 10, 12?
Yeah, 11.
So like your pitching wedge in that is going to be a lot higher lofted than the actual pitching wedge now.
I'm sure it's probably a 48.
And Sean will show you, and Sean's good at that too. Like he'll be like, hey, here's your clubs now. Like you're at, like 48. And like the new pitching wedge is probably going to be like 46.
Yeah.
And so like when you're like, oh shit, I'm hitting a pitching wedge. I'm hitting a pitching wedge 145 yards and I only hit it usually 135. Well, 2 degrees will do that, right?
Yeah.
So it's important not to get caught up in that. Because it's easy to get caught up in that. You're like, I'm gaining 10 yards. It's like, well, you're getting 10 yards because of the loft, sure. Right? But I do think you need to worry about that because like what happened to me when I got my irons, all of a sudden I needed new wedges because the gaps were funky, right? I think the AP2s I have are 46. The one I had was a 48, like the pitching wedge I had. So then, like, because I had a 48, I had a 52. I ended up buying a 50.
Yeah.
So and I kind of
hopefully I fall into that then.
Like and not my thing is like I carry a 52 right now, but I kind of flip flop wedges in and out just depending on the course I'm playing too. So and then that's something to think about.
Sort of because right now my current irons are 4 to pitching wedge. I'm probably going to end up with the same, I would guess. I don't think I'm going to add a 3 iron or whatever, but the gap between driver and 4 iron has always been a little bit tricky for me.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, the more stuff I read about this, like, I don't want to do this because
everyone's talking hybrids.
Oh my god, dude! Like I heard, I think it was like Doug Gim or something like that, or maybe it's like Michael Kim was like, if you're an amateur golfer and you're carrying a 4 iron, like you're an idiot. Like you're an idiot. Like you should have hybrids. Like he was like, and he said like 5 and up should be hybrid. And I'm like, that is crazy. First off, like you want to talk me into some like getting my 4 iron out of the bag and putting the hybrid in? I can live with that. But like, man, like a 5 iron. But I'm telling you, like the more I hear about it, and like the more I'm telling you, there's some pros out there that are kind of teetering with. Depending on what course they're playing, like they'll take the 4 out and put a hybrid in.
Yeah, I mean, I have 2 hybrids, basically. I usually don't carry a 3-wood just because the Elks, I don't really need it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, at our course, I could probably take my 3-wood out and I have no problem.
So, like, maybe I'll swap out a hybrid for a 3-wood here and there. But, I mean, I'm honestly, the concern I have is getting the 4-iron and then, like you said, getting the stronger club face, so it's going to get closer.
Realistically, now, it's going to get closer to your hybrid,
which could be a good thing. Maybe then I'd pull a hybrid out instead and put the 3-wood in just in case, But I don't know.
Those gaps at the top of the clubs just get wonky, man. Like
I know,
and it just like I have a 4 iron. I don't carry a 3 iron just because of the amount of clubs. I like carrying a 50.
Yeah, I'd rather have the wedges.
I like carrying a 52, 56, 60, especially the course we play a lot. But again, it kind of depends. Like there are some courses I take a 50, 56 out, and I'll leave my 50. I usually put a 54 in at that point, and then put a 3 iron in, just depending on where we're playing. If I'm playing a really long course, I'm like, bro, I ain't gonna need a 56 all motherfucking day. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's nothing that a 60 and a 60 and a 54 can't handle. Sure. You know what I mean? But it just gets wonky up there, man. Like I know because like I go from 4 to 2 iron, and a 4 iron, like it's really hard to muscle. I can, but then like that 2 iron, it's really hard for me to lay off of. So it's like that 230 number for me is just not good. Like 228 to 230 is just not, like, it's really hard for me to hit that number.
Yeah.
And really, I'd say like 225 to 230 is probably more like it. Like that number is not good. Because then my 3 was like 260. So it's like I go from like
that problem.
I go from like 215 to 240 to like 260 or 265. It's just like such big gaps.
Yeah.
But I guess you don't really fall into those much. You know, at least we don't.
No,
anyway.
in theory, no. But I mean, with the elevation changes sometimes on the par, I mean,
yeah,
maybe you don't because you hit driver a little farther, but I get on the par 5s.
You get gap fucked often.
I'm in that range so often on the par 5s. But yeah, look, I have to have a 4 iron because like these punch shots out of these trees.
Yeah, they don't. They ain't gonna handle themselves.
I'm not gonna be doing that with a hybrid. There's no chance. So
see, that's my whole thing with like taking the 4 iron back. I'm like,
dude, 4 iron is
I cannot hit the ball low enough for a 5 iron to get under some trees. Like
4 iron is one of my more versatile clubs, just because I've had to hit so many freaking punch shots.
Oh yeah, I'm telling you, like on my worst driving days, like that 4 iron gets a lot of action.
Yeah, I know,
like a lot of action. So.
I mean, I know this is not going to be like a game changer, right? It's, look, I need to work on the swing, I need to do all that stuff, but I think it'll be nice for me to like feel like, okay, these are my irons. Like,
yeah, they're built for you. It's a nice feeling.
It's giving me the best chance to play better golf that I could get. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
For sure.
Same thing I have with the driver, honestly.
Like it's almost like you have no excuses now. Like, you know what I mean? Like you're internally, you have no excuses.
Right. And look, irons are a little different. You know, the technology in drivers and stuff goes a lot quicker. But still, I mean, they're 11, 12-year-old irons. Like, I'm going to see some benefit from that in some way.
For sure.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. Well, I'm going to have to hit up Sean here in a bit and get something on the books. But maybe, to your point, I'll look like a week or so out so I can get a couple range sessions in.
Yeah, you definitely have to. It looks like we're getting in some nicer weather. You should have decent weather to go to a range and hit some balls.
Yeah.
So... All right, we're going to move on to God, this weekend sucked for golf. I'm just going to say it right now. The Genesis.
Man.
You know what's crazy is everything, if you look at like who's won tournaments and what's happened in them, and I don't think anything else could have gone more wrong for the PGA Tour in like the last 4 weeks.
Dude.
Like, and it was like, it can't get worse. And then it gets worse. Like, it constantly gets worse. Look, I have no problem with Hideki winning. And he's a world class talent. I mean, just dude. Like I told you, I said I didn't watch much of it because I was just so bummed. And we'll get into why we're going to be bummed. But like the one shot I saw Hideki hit, it was on 16. That really hard par 4, just tiptoes it over the bunker to like an inch, and I was like, oh shit, he's going to win. Because I did have a Sunday bet. I made a live bet on Willie Z.
Me too.
And I saw that, and I'm like, motherfucker. Like, goddamn.
Yeah, it was on 15 and 16 back-to-back holes where both of them were inside of a foot.
Stupid,
it was like
dude.
a total of like a foot.
Yeah,
away.
Stupid. But I have no problem with him winning.
No, Hideki's great. And honestly, it's one of those guys where you kind of wish you knew more about him, but he's,
Yeah, just because of like the language barrier, it's kind of hard. Yeah. You know what I mean? But dude, his caddy, I think it's like Shota. He's just like a man's man.
The vape god out there.
Yeah, so like there's a picture of him. They're like, he's up on the putting, if you know Riv, like the putting green, like one of the putting greens sits up above and you can kind of see 18 green. Yeah. And he's sitting on the edge of like the bushes, like with a vape and a pack of cigarettes in his hand, just sitting there watching the last group come in. And then he did the bow thing when he won the Masters. Like, dude,
that
guy's like just an absolute gem, by the way.
Yeah, well, dude. Yeah, I actually watched quite a bit of this weekend just because I love Riv. I love the tournament.
Dude, that place looks magical, by the way.
It just does. It always hits. It always does. And, I mean, there was one point, right before Hideki started hitting those lasers, like, I think there were 5 guys tied at 14.
Yeah, it was like 4.
And I was
literally,
like
he was teeing off like 14. And it was like, the two groups behind them were on like 12 and 13.
Yeah.
And there was like 5 or 6 guys died. And then all of a sudden it was just like snap of the fingers, it was over.
It was wild. But yeah, okay, so look.
Where do we start? Because
I think we start with Tiger. The WD with the flu.
I was, quote unquote, the flu.
Yeah.
I also had the flu this past week.
Well, apparently a lot of people did out at Red.
Yeah, apparently it was a thing.
There was no Zach Johnson around, though, that complained about the sniffles. So,
yeah.
we were.
Hey, let him up. He's got a family.
No, never.
It sucked.
Well, the ambulance thing was like weird. Like what? And I guess
was
there
a
was
lot
no
going
IVs
on.
at the course. Like,
Yeah.
Our guy needed an IV worse than you did. So yeah, I mean that's tough. I guess if there's any silver lining, like if it really,
it's not like an injury,
if
right?
it really was the flu, and he just was basically bad on the shits or was dehydrated or whatever. Like that's
and like
a good
and
thing.
other guys confirming that there was like a lot of sick guys out there this week. It was like, okay, at this point seems a little more believable.
Yeah.
Look, In-N-Out Burger is getting a tough break on this.
Yeah, that's tough. Did you see the meme where someone like Photoshopped Phil's head on that?
Dude, I saw so many of them. And like it was like, look at this guy in the back. Like the original guy had an evil look on his face.
I know.
Bro. But when I saw the Phil Mickelson one, dude, I lost it. I just completely lost it. And I don't think it's In-N-Out is fine. I don't think that was it. But it did confirm that, a lot of guys were like, look, there's guys out here coughing, not feeling well, So it makes it a little more believable now at this point that we kind of hear from other guys. And I think Jordan Spieth even said, or someone said Jordan wasn't feeling well.
Yeah, I mean, apparently, the reason he got DQ'd is because he was rushing out of the scores tent to go to the bathroom.
Dude, I would have hated to be that clubhouse attendant that week. Man.
Yeah, seriously, just disinfecting everything.
It sounds like not the job for me, by the way, or anybody for that matter.
Oh.
And then Tom Kim, well, I think it was people were making a joke, but he was like running late to his tee time yesterday.
Yeah,
and he's like running
across there. Yeah, I saw it. It was so good.
And I was like, if that is the case, those white pants are risky business. Just absolute risk.
Well, Tom Kim, so getting into Spieth, he got DQ'd for signing for an incorrect scorecard. He played with Tom Kim, so it was part of it.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
They just had a mismatch on the scoring or whatever, and he signed and left the area or whatever before they could correct it.
I've never understood that. And I'm not going to name names. I know a guy, a top-notch amateur golfer, has played in 2 or 3 USAMs. This has happened to him 4 times. And I'm like, how? You're so good at golf. How does this happen? Of all the people, you're taking so few shots. You should know how many. I just don't understand. And I get the crowd. They're like, this is stupid. You shouldn't get DQ'd for this. No. I stand in the crowd of, check your fucking scorecard, dude.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple.
I'm with you on that.
They don't even ask you to add it up. They're just like, check the hole by hole. Addition does not matter. Check the hole by hole. If the hole by holes are right, it doesn't matter.
Correct.
And that's what drives me. It's just the stuff we get mad at Spieth about. It's like he's all over this and that, and it's just the nonsense. And it's this is nonsense. This is the stuff you're like, dude, what the hell? And it's just so frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, I understand people who are like, oh, it's a signature event. It's you want to keep your stars in the field. You know what I mean? You're trying to could they have worked with them or done something? But at the end of the day, it's golf.
It's rule.
The kind of the beauty of golf or whatever a lot of people describe is that we can play the same equipment as the pros. We can play the same courses, the same tees.
Same
rules. There's a connection between the amateur game and the professional game.
Yeah, the same rules,
and that includes keeping your score and signing for the correct score. So at the very basic level of it, it makes sense. I do understand people that are like, well, it's a professional event. There's cameras on them. There's someone out there tracking every shot he takes. But at the end of the day, it's on you to report the correct score.
At this point, as a professional golfer, you should be the least likely to sign an incorrect scorecard for that reason right there. At any point during the round, I guarantee you could walk over to a scorer and go, what have I gotten on the last 2 holes? And they could probably tell you. That's what makes it that much worse. You can't do that in an amateur tournament. You don't have a scorer walking along with you.
Right.
Like, you have no backup. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, happening in a professional tournament, it just makes him look that much worse. And I love the guy, but it's just, sorry, you don't get any leash on this. Like, none.
Yeah. No, that's just a mistake. But look, there was also, this is just a bad week for our Kings. I put that in the agenda.
Yeah.
Max, like, there was a video of him just like absolutely berating himself with an F-bomb after a tee shot.
I saw that. I don't know what hole it was on, but I saw the video.
And I know this is like his hometown event. He really wants this one.
He must
with
try
fans.
too hard, right?
Yeah. But he's also like the guy that, he's talked a lot about like how the self-talk and like keeping himself even keeled and all that is like his kind of thing. And so like when you see him doing that, it's like, man, it's
just a tough week all the way around.
He's struggling. He hasn't played well lately, so I'm sure he's kind of feeling like he's a little lost at the moment. But.
Yeah, because we talked about it when the California swing started. It's like, this is Max kind of thing, right? It's like he wins in California, didn't play well at all. I mean, I think he played okay at Pebble, but didn't really play well at all. So it's like it was like the frustration was like mounting to that point.
Yeah.
So,
and then finally, the last of the bunch we're going to get on here. Our one and done pick, Justin Thomas. I texted you on Thursday afternoon because I tuned in while I was eating lunch. And Gary Woodland and Tiger both birdie the first hole, and JT makes par from 190 out, just like dead center in the fairway, and just fans it. Shitty chip, shitty putt, par. And then Waffle House is one up against the fence, the driving range fence, I think, on 2. And I sent you the screenshot of the thing, and he's like rehearsing hitting a ball off of the concrete wall. Honestly, did pretty good from there, and then like hit it on and had a legitimate par, but didn't make it, of course. So we knew. It was like an instantly you knew this was not going to be good for us.
Yeah, I was like in a meeting on Thursday, and you're sending me this stuff, and I'm just like trying not to laugh because I remember last week we didn't want to take him because it was a cut event.
Yeah,
like a bit, a normal cut event. I remember that being the reasoning behind not taking him at the Waste Management.
God.
And it's like we have like a minimized cut event, and he still managed to miss the cut.
Dude, it's so bad.
Oh, it was.
He wasn't even close. Like there was no point where he was even like battling
no
back.
like no like signs of life, nothing, just bad.
Man, yeah, I'm not even gonna like. We came in, you were hurting, but we had predetermined like
this is like
it's gonna be
JT Riv. Yeah,
it wasn't like we had predetermined it and he wasn't playing well. Like he was playing good, so like I don't feel like we really messed up. He just did not have it from go.
No.
That hurt bad.
Yeah.
For the one and done.
But I remember that I was like, oh my, like this, it was all happening. And I'm just like, I remember saying we didn't want him at the Waste Management because we couldn't trust that he would make like a full cut event. And then it's like, dude, he's just got to be in like the top 50 of a 70 person field. It's like, we can trust him there. And then it just absolutely, utterly backfires.
So bad. Yeah. And so, I mean, you did mention this a little bit ago. Just kind of like West Coast swing. I think you're right. Like the tour just like did not really get much go their way here. I mean, some good stories along the way. Obviously, we're connected with Jay and Grayson, Chris Kirk winning in Hawaii as well. Yeah. So those were some good stories. And then
they're good stories, but like, does it get like the average fan to watch more? To me, I'd say no.
That's the thing. So none of like the stars have like vacated the scene in terms of like winning or really even honestly contending.
I mean,
Scotty's been the closest, and like that again this week, first tee to green, dead last of the guys that made
his
the cut.
Putting was it was not fun to watch. I mean, of what I watched and like seeing videos,
this is the first
he's no
week.
longer searching for something. He's broken.
This is the first time where I've watched him. Like, honestly, every time I watched him, I'd be like, man, he hits a lot of good putts. They just do not go in.
Yeah.
This was the first week where I was like,
he's not hitting good putts.
No, we're not good. We're not
like,
okay.
we're not talking like he didn't hit a good putt from 20 feet. It's like he's not hitting good putts from like 3 feet.
Bro, did you see the picture of him? He was lining up like a foot putt.
Oh, yeah. That's what I said. When I saw that picture, I was like, this dude's broken.
Oh.
Like, he is, at this point, I know, like, look, coming from somebody that played with a blade putter for 16 years, like, legitimately 16 years, I get not wanting to get away from that, right? Like, you're like, look, it's worked. It's got me to this point. Like, he's the number one player in the world.
Right, it's crazy.
It's hard to, like, look at your game and go, why should I go away? Dude, he's got to go to a mallet. Like, just something to just, and maybe he does it for, like, a month, right? Just to get something in his brain different. Like, just the look, whatever. Something's just got to look different to him for him to get back into being, like, an athlete, right? Like, just not thinking about anything, just getting up there and hitting putts. I truly believe that is, at this point, is what he needs. I mean, hell, look at Willie Z. You know, I don't think Scotty needs to go to the broomstick, but, you know, he just changed, right? He's just like, I need something different. Like, I just have to go to something different. And he did, and he's putting. I mean, his stroke looks really good. I think I remember the one on 13 he made, like, one of the few holes I watched this week, and, like, they showed it, like, right behind the hole, and it was like, straight back, straight through, boom, nailed it. So I think that's what he needs at this point. I don't know what else to do. Like, what he could do, you know, it's definitely in his head at this point, for sure.
Yeah, has to be. But I mean, like, he's the only one of kind of like these guys just aren't contending. They're not like, I mean, Rory wasn't there this weekend. Hovland has been MIA.
Yeah, well, like, that's the other thing. I was like, where's Victor Hovland at?
I don't know. Something weird's going on with him, I think.
Yeah.
He like fired his chipping coach a while back.
Yeah, which is weird because he was like a terrible chipper, and then he became one of the best pitchers of the golf ball last year because of this guy, and then all of a sudden he like fires him out of nowhere.
Yeah. So I don't know, maybe just a long layoff.
But like even like Cantlay and Xander, like they crap down their legs on Sunday.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Historically what they do as well.
Yeah, I know. But like, you know, it's funny. I saw someone tweet, and it was just some random guy, and he goes, "I don't know what the market would be for this, but he's like, at this point, I'm confidently betting that Xander and Patrick do not get majors in their career."
Yeah,
and I was like, man, that's you know, there's guys out there with majors, and then you start thinking like, dude, they don't have that mentality. Like they just don't, and I think that's part of the reason. Like, it's kind of surprising Patrick's really good, and he's been pretty good in Ryder Cups. I just think that's kind of part of the reason they're not good in Ryder Cups, right? They don't have that like killer mentality of like attacking a big tournament like that. You know,
maybe
where like in like a Willie Z, and I'm going to steal this. No Laying Up talked about this pretty heavily this week. Do you know his stats in like major golf tournaments?
Yeah.
It's stupid. Like how many like runner-ups, top tens that he has in like 9.
Well, it's like his strokes gained in like all the hardest events basically.
Like to me, that is a mentality of like this guy like truly shows his best self when the pressure is the highest. Like to me, I could see him winning a major in the next couple of years. Where it's like Patrick and Xander, you're like, you see him play golf and it's just like uninspiring.
Yeah.
Is that the right word?
Yeah. I texted Nick because he was watching it at the same time I was yesterday. And I was like, is there a better player like that's worse dressed than Xander?
Like better player, worse dressed? The only one that comes to my mind like instantly is Adam Scott.
Oh my God! See, that's what he said, but I don't put Scott on that level anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Well, they're different generations, right? Like
Nick said,
if you compare
Adam
like
Scott.
last generation to this Xander being this generation, comparing generations, yes, they're equals.
My argument was that like Xander's, like his clothes are both like bland and bad.
Yeah. Yeah, he doesn't take any risks,
and they're like
right?
fit kind of like boxy, and like he's got that weird the brand that Hideki used to wear, like the Triton looking thing. I don't know what it is.
So was he the one in the Netflix series last year when he was in Adidas and they kind of showed some of that, and he was like saying no to stuff?
No, that was Colin.
Oh, that's right.
Colin
Okay,
with
never
the
mind.
olive
Never mind.
pants or
That's right. That's
whatever.
right. Yeah, but I was just like, I was like, to me as a professional, like I don't, and we I think the way we dress, right? We're conservative, but like our shirts will kind of reach on, right? Like you wouldn't see us typically out there in like neon shorts, right?
No, that's Ryan only.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is we kind of take stretches on like shirts, like a little bit bright, not like neon shirts, but like brighter shirts. But like he takes no chances on anything, and he gets it for free. Like we're paying for our shit, right? So
like that outfit yesterday, he was wearing like a red clay shirt.
Oh, it was
with
terrible.
Black pants and white shoes.
Oh, it was terrible. Yeah, it was not good. No, it was not good. Yeah, it was not good.
Yeah, Anyway, that was an aside. But
by the way, if we're talking about outfits, real quick, Jason Days yesterday, not that bad. I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't terrible. It wasn't great, but it wasn't also terrible.
The problem
either.
for me is it's just so not relatable because like that shit would look so bad on me. Like I would look. I don't even know what I would look like.
You would look goofy as fuck. That's just
yeah. Yeah,
I would too. By the way, on the record,
right? So I can't even like fathom that like being or looking good because I just picture it on me and just like how God.
I kind of want to go to I just want to go to one of their stores and just try shit on and just see how stupid I look.
Yeah, it would be horrific.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't even know where we're at anymore in this conversation.
But we were talking about the best players kind of not playing.
Yeah, and so basically, the PGA Tour tried to. The West Coast swing is awesome historically. Then you get like Pebble, a signature event, gets rained out essentially.
Yeah,
all the rain,
3 rounds,
weather stuff at both Torrey and WM Open, along with the security issues and the alcohol issues and all that happened. Then you get Riv. It's Tiger's back. Or Tiger's playing WD. You get
plays
Spieth
29
DQ'd.
holes or whatever.
Yeah, JT's missing the cut. Like
it's just not off to a good start.
And then you get, of course, it's Xander and Cantlay among like the quote unquote stars who are like in it at Riv, and it's like the two least interesting of
just like,
and the ones that people kind of have some feelings about, or like negative feelings about,
Yeah,
or honestly no feelings because they just don't like evoke emotion.
Yeah, and that's the problem. Like if people like genuinely hated them, like they would watch, right?
Yeah,
like I'm here to root against this guy. But they don't genuinely hate him, and they don't like him. So it's kind of like the worst of both worlds.
Yeah, it's like, oh, cool. Patrick Cantlay won $4 million again.
Like I was always told, if like you can't get someone to like you, you want to get them to hate you because like it'll love and hate are pretty close, and as far as feelings, right?
Yeah,
like,
I mean it's like all PR is good PR, right?
Yeah,
like it's like that kind of thing.
I live my life that way, by the way.
I know you do. Well, here's a little PR spin for you. Things aren't as bad in the one and done as I thought they were.
Man, I thought we were just going to get roasted after this week, like missing an elevated event like this.
It's certifiably not good, but I will say I was misreading what I thought was the amount of money out of the money we are. It's actually the line where the money starts.
Oh, okay.
So I had previously been saying we're like $1.5 million out or whatever of the money. No. We're only $800,000 back of money.
Hey, it's less than $1 million.
So we're still.
There's one less comma.
Yeah. I mean, that hurts. To take an MC at a signature event is not good.
Yeah.
But again, another winner that wasn't really a pick. So, like, the people didn't cash in on Hideki or, even Willie Z.
I will tell you, we are getting very lucky with that.
Yes.
We've benefited.
The problem is we're not hitting any of these nobodies and we're burning all of the studs at the same time.
Yeah. I tell you, I feel a little bit better about burning JT only because it's like, Riv, to me, is a good indicator where your golf game's going to be at on a major championship golf course. And if that's where his golf game is on a major championship golf course, I don't want anything to do with him at a major championship. So
right.
I think it's a good way to look at it. Like a silver lining, right?
The only other name we mentioned last week was Scotty, and I said his floor was a top 10. He finished tied for 10th. So that could have been the only other option we took, but honestly...
But I like to burn him on, it's an elevated event. It's not a small pot, but to burn him this early on and not a major just seems reckless. Yeah. Seems desperate.
You could get him at more, high leverage spots later in the year.
For sure. Yeah, for sure.
This week, the Mexico Open
Ooh, the Vendata. Is it the Vendata?
at Vedante.
Vedante.
You're the
I
Cabos
just
guy.
came back
You
from there.
Yeah, you should have
This is
style.
actually in like, I don't know where this is at. It's on the
it's at either.
mainland. It's on mainland Mexico.
Gotcha.
I think the west coast of mainland Mexico. But I do. You know what? I actually watched a lot of this tournament last year.
The Rom versus
Terrible.
Finau.
Yeah, it was not terrible last year.
The only thing I know about it is basically like you want to hit it really far and hit it really close,
Yes.
which kind of
Seems
tracks
like it
everywhere.
plays. Yeah. Seems like it plays on a lot of
But
places.
I guess there has been. I mean, at least based on the past results, that there's been a lot of emphasis on driving distance.
Yeah, I mean, like thinking about last year, Finau, he kind of tones it back, but can be one of the longer hitters. Rahm's not short. Garrett Higo last year was up there. He's just stupid long.
Yeah.
So I kind of think it plays, right? I think Sam Ryder had a pretty good tournament here last year.
Who could say?
He's stupid long too, So I think thinking along those lines is probably not a bad play.
I wish they would go back, and it's not the same tournament, but they should go back to that Chapultepec course where they had the WGC for a few years.
Oh yeah, that was a good
tournament.
That
was so lit.
Dude, that was a good tournament. I remember that. That was a great course too, by the way.
It was like basically they were playing like a muni.
Yeah, dude, it was
just
fucking
like,
awesome.
They're just sending it over trees.
Were we like watching it at my house one time or something like that? I think we were.
And then there was like, because of the elevation and stuff, like you get like, they can carry it farther.
Yeah, it was. I don't even remember where that. I think it was in Mexico City. I think it was right. Yeah.
There's like the famous shot of Tiger with like the windmill finish from the bunker, and then it zips down there. Like, dude, that course is a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, I think for security purposes, they're probably trying to stay away from centralized Mexico at this point, but
possibly so. Anyway, I think the main question here is: are we taking Tony or are we not taking Tony?
No. I don't even have him on
I think
my
it's
list.
worth it to swerve too. I feel like he's going to be far and away the highest pick guy. The purse is smaller.
That's what I'm saying. Like in a tournament like this, a small purse that it's not going to make or break if we just have a zero, right? Like, I mean, it really isn't at this point. Like if we're dodging bullets, like there's going to be so many people picked, spread out that like if we take a zero, we're just not going to lose that much unless Finau wins. But then again, like if he wins, you're not going to gain that much either. So it's kind of like to me, this is like, hey, let's go out on a limb here and find somebody that it's definitely is probably going to be not picked by a lot of people, and you might gain a little bit off of it. It's kind of my head space.
That's where I'm on the same page.
Okay. So my first guy, Højgaard. And I know he's the second or third favorite in odds. Probably going to be heavily picked. I would say probably in the top 5 of picks. Would be my guess. So that's kind of why he's at the bottom of my list. It was kind of like a break in a case of emergency. He was like that kind of guy for me on my list.
I had him first on the list, but that's without considering the ownership factor.
Yeah.
So if there's other guys that we maybe agree on or something,
because that to me is like the biggest thing I'm thinking about this week is like who can we pick that's going to be out on a limb, but like not necessarily like one of the favorites.
Yeah.
But swimming against the stream is the best way to put it.
I think just by not picking Finau, we might be different enough. But I'm sure that Højgaard's probably going to be the second
between
most.
Finau and Højgaard, it's going to be pretty close.
Yeah.
Who's you said you had him first. Who's second?
That's because I crossed off. I had Finau on the list just because I figured we should. So I had 4 guys.
Okay.
So Højgaard was the best of the rest. The last person that made the cut for me is Steven Jaeger.
Hell yeah. That was my one.
It feels like, he's like got a crazy cut streak going. Feels like a matter of time he's going to win. He's been in a couple of these tournaments.
Yep, and definitely feels like a low or a high floor, right?
Oh yeah.
Dude's
like 22 straight mini
yeah,
cuts.
if you don't know who he is, he's got a stupid cut streak going on right now.
Yeah.
Just trying to find that win, right? Is kind of his next thing. And I mean, what better tournament to do it at? It's the field here is obviously not great. A lot of spread but he's on my list. He was on my list. He's number one on my list.
Oh, nice. Okay, so who's your...
My middle one was Garrett Kigo.
Okay.
He played well here last year. Dude's stupid long, but his floor is very low. Like, it can be really bad, but it could be also really good. Like, he's won on tour. He won the de facto Canadian Open when they had it down in South Carolina.
Yeah. Congaree.
Yeah, Congaree. But it was when they replaced it with the RBC. He played here. He played well here last year. I want to say second or third off the top of my head, but I'm not 100% sure. But he feels like another guy that people are going to lean heavily on too. He'll probably be top 10.
Yeah,
just because of how last year went.
Right.
Purely how last year went.
So the guy that I had left on my list, the second choice, Thomas Dietrich.
Thought about him. He's playing some pretty good golf.
Contended at Farmers, and honestly, still kind of kept it together at Pebble the week after.
He did. Yeah, I think he was. Did he get a top 10? I think he might have got a top 10 there, actually.
Yeah, he was a first-round leader, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm mixing up Farmers and Pebble then.
Yeah, Farmers is the one he kind of fell apart in the last round.
Okay. Yeah, Pebble, he was the first. He went crazy low on Spyglass. That's right.
Yep, he did.
So he's playing well. He's like Højgaard. I think he's one of the European. Højgaard's probably got a higher ceiling overall as a player, but
yeah, Steven Jaeger's kind of one of those guys, and then Dietrich.
He's been beating up the European Tour for a while. Come over this year. I think it's the talent play. Dude mashes.
He does.
He's also a fairly decent putter, which is kind of rare for the guy. Like I worry about Jaeger's putting a little bit.
It's not great. It can be okay, but it's not on average. It's not like anything spectacular.
Yeah. I don't know what to expect in terms of ownership for Dietrich. It could
be pretty massive.
I think it could be bigger too.
Only just because of how he's played the last 5 weeks. Really, I just don't think we can go wrong with our crossover.
You want to go swerve with Jaeger?
Yeah. We're gonna be zagging when everybody else is zigging.
Hopefully. Yeah,
or zigging. We're going to be zigging when everybody else is zagging.
And that's a guy you can root for, too. He's
awesome, dude. Every time I talk about him, it goes back to him wearing that kitty cat T-shirt and cut off jeans and like a Monday qualifier like 3 or 4 years ago. He's got a cool story. I think they had him on Subpar. No. For the People, like 2 years ago. Go back and listen to that. It's pretty good. Okay. He's a cool guy. So I think that's got to be our play this week.
Yeah, and we're going to go Steven Jaeger, the official back 9 6-pack pick of the week for one and done. Race from the Mayo Cup. We're going to get back in here.
We're zigging.
Good vibes. Steven's going to get us there.
Time to zig. All right. Let's take it to the patio. I know you don't have any interest in going to a patio and drinking a beer, but I do.
Okay.
But that's why I'm going to let you lead off this week.
Okay. I'm going to the Barstool guys well again here. This is something I saw they posted a while back, actually a couple weeks ago. You got to bear with me as I read this.
Okay.
So they pulled this up from a Reddit golf thread.
Oh, God.
And I'm curious.
No, I just love when shit starts in Reddit because it immediately sets the bar for this is going to be fucking stupid and or insane.
It's not. It's actually not.
Okay.
I think it's a good parallel to a discussion we had in the past, which was, are you going to have a hole in one before I
okay.
It's like what's going to happen first?
Cool. Yeah. Okay.
So, bear with me as I read this. In an effort to motivate my buddy to get better and have a bit of fun, we established a 30-year competition. People have heard about it or split on who should be favored to win. So the breakdown is this. I'm a 3 handicap, 36 years old, and have played continuously since about age 10. My friend is also 36 years old and has only been playing for 2 years. He's currently a Vanity 16 and has put in a lot of effort to get there. My friend has to beat me one time, total gross score, by the time we turn 65. They must be playing together in the same group. The winner of this bet gets $5K. This guy says, I think there's no chance he wins. Getting to a 16 is one thing. Getting from a 16 to a 3 is a different ball game in any time frame. Does he have a chance, basically?
Couple things that immediately came in my head as factors. If injury and like how they handle their bodies and things like that, genetics didn't come into play, I'd say he has no chance.
That's the thing. You don't know that side of it. You don't know how hard this guy's working. If we're talking
about like even people, like maybe lack of injuries, like they're pretty healthy, pretty flexible, things like that. The 16 handicap has no chance. Like I've seen some guys go from like 16s to 4s and 5. Mm-hmm. But I think when you like if you're talking even playing field, the 16 has no shot because what he doesn't know is he doesn't know how to play in a like tighter match as a better golfer. This guy's been doing it his entire life. So like the experience level of playing higher level golf, and like if it really came down to crunch time, he's still not going to have that, right?
Yeah, but the thing that's unknown is like how much more could this guy improve given the window to get better.
I think it was because let's just call it what it is. When you get older, for the most part, a majority of people just get worse, right?
Sure.
Flexibility, injuries. You don't hit the ball as far. Maybe like for someone like me, when I start hitting the ball 250, like my game's going to have to change drastically, right? I'm going to have to become a better putter. I'm going to have to become better with hybrids and things. Like your game's going to have to. So he's going to have to do some adjusting, right? Mm-hmm. The guy that's probably a 3 handicap's probably a little longer or whatever. I would say the 16 has a chance, right? Just given all the variables. All the variables.
I think if he gets under a 10, he's got a legitimate shot. Depending on how often these guys play together, too, by the way.
Yeah, if they play like once a week, like, yeah, 100% he's got a shot.
I mean, this is, for an example, you're what, a plus whatever?
Yeah. You've beat me in 9 holes before.
I beat you in 18 last year.
Did you really?
Yeah, first time we played.
Yeah, that's right. We did. Yeah, so you did.
That's,
like, oh yeah,
that's like that's like you have like a probably.
And think about this, like that guy's a 3, so like his off day's an 83, probably, exactly. Right. Like I think my off day when you beat me, I think we were both.
You shot 80 and I shot.
Yeah, I think I was like low 80s, and then so there's no doubt about it. Like the 3 could easily shoot like 85. And if that guy's a 9 and has a really good day, it's over, right?
Yeah, that's maybe I'm just siding with the underdog a little bit here.
No, I'm on your side on this. Like, I truly believe, given all the variables, when you really like your first 10 things, like no chance, like no chance. Like,
yeah, I just think this guy being so like adamant that there's no chance is a mistake.
I truly believe that if that 16 is committed to like getting better. Now, if he's just like, hey, I'm going to play 5 times a year. He's not. He's never going to do it, right?
Yeah.
But if he's truly committed, if they're making this bet, it seems like he is. It's going to happen at some point.
Yeah.
Because I will say, and how did they say how older they were? They're 36.
Yeah, 36.
That 3's not going to get any better.
Probably not.
Like the 16 is going to get better. The 3's not going to get like he may get down to like a 2, but he's not going to go from a 3 to a plus.
Probably not.
Like, just from personal experience, like when I joined the Elks, I was like a 2.5, and it took me almost 5 years to get down to a plus handicap. Like, but I don't see it. Like, it just that 3's not at the best is going to get down to maybe a 1, maybe a 2, but like he's not going to get drastically better. Sure. The 16 is going to make leaps and bounds just because it's easier. It's like, hey, today I'm going to focus on not double chipping. Like I'm not going to chip twice today. I'm going to get it on. So instead of taking a triple, I'm going to take a bogey, right? Things like that. It's so much easier to cut out strokes that way. I'm with you. I'm 16 has it. I think he'll do it.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to tune back into r/whatever this was in the next 30 years to find out.
But your first instinct is to be like, the 3's never going to lose to him, right?
Oh yeah. I think the big thing is.
Because no one's mind ever goes past like 3 years, really, when you're thinking about it.
Right. Well, and you don't think, not knowing a lot, but he does make the specific comment of he's been playing continuously since he was 10 versus this guy just picked the game up. Well, how much does that factor in terms of like what, you know what I mean? Like there's like a baseline to just like course management and like goal, like you said.
Well,
kind
and
of
two, like
how to
is
play.
this guy that's a 16 is he an athlete in another sport?
Exactly.
Like if he's a baseball player, guaranteed this 16 is going to get good enough. Like just because their hand-eye coordination, things like that.
Yeah.
Now, if he's like, he's never really played organized sports, I'd be like, that might be a little like not saying he can't do it, but if you have some athletic background, it helps, right?
Definitely.
There's a lot of variables that weren't said in there that it's like,
I know.
If he told me he's a baseball player, I'm like, guaranteed. He at some point, he'll get down to like a 7 and beat you.
I'm going to have to track this Reddit thread down just to see if there's been any updates or any
that's the problem, though. It's like, it's not going to happen in like the next 3 years, probably.
No.
It'll be like the 4th or 5th year, you'll start to see closer scores.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting.
Yeah, that was good. I think I remember seeing that, and I remember thinking about it, and I think I like initially just sided with the 3 and just called it a day. But when you talk through it, it makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. So my question stems from a neighbor of mine. We saw them this weekend, and somehow eating Chipotle came up, and her husband, shout out Danielle, her husband Seth, who has listened to the show. I think when he hops on an episode. Somehow Chipotle comes up, and he mentions she eats Chipotle like a psycho. Like, what do you mean? Like, she doesn't mix the bowl up. She takes slices out of and like takes the layer and eats it. So she's like, she knows exactly. She does it because, quote unquote, she knows exactly what she's getting in every bite instead of mixing it up. That's not the question. The question, because that is definitely an obscure food eating mentality, right? So my question is do you have any, not necessarily that, but like, do you have any food intake mentalities towards certain foods that some would deem probably weird?
Oh, I mean, I'm sure.
Because that to me is just, and even her husband's like, that's insane. Like, that's an insane way to eat a Chipotle bowl. One, it seems like a lot of work, by the way.
I'm curious about this. I want to know more because, is there no effort at all to even the ingredients out?
No, because like just however they stack it in the bowl, that's how she eats. Like she cuts it and she gets a nice like layer like rice, beans. Like
so maybe she kind of smooths it out or something.
Yeah, like or packs it down, like she gets it all in one bite, like layer by like each layer is in each bite.
Yeah. So I'm not.
But like my question to you is though is like, is there a food or foods that you eat that someone would go, that's weird, like how you eat it?
This is one of those ones where it's like I can't think of it.
I've got some really good ones that after I started thinking about it, but I'll let you go first.
No, I need a prompt. I need you to give me more examples and maybe I'll think of something.
So I peel my bananas from the bottom.
Well, see, a lot of people say you're supposed to do that.
See,
right?
but I've done it, and people are like, "What are you doing?" Like, that's not.
Yeah,
that's
I don't
not the
do
worst
that,
one.
but people say that that's like the better, superior way.
So I saw a video about it, but apparently, like, not a lot of people do that, and they're like, "Dude, that's the bottom of the banana." Like, what? Even my daughters, like, they'll see me peel a banana, like, "Dad, that's the bottom."
I mean, yeah.
I'm like, you know what I mean?
It's not the most common.
And they don't think it's weird. They're just, well, they kind of think it's weird. They're like, what are you doing? My daughter eats cherries, stem and all.
How is that? That seems so bad. Like for you.
I mean, it's part of the cherry.
Oh, never mind. What? I know which one.
These are not personally. I'm just kind of going through weird ones I know.
Yeah.
My father-in-law puts peanuts in Coca-Cola.
What?
Yeah. Apparently it's a Southern thing.
This is like, so Susie's family they'd do like chili night and they would always eat peanut butter sandwiches with it. And like dip the sandwich in the chili. Like I've witnessed that. And that blew my mind too, which...
By the way, we had a similar question a long time ago. We were talking about like weird foods our family used to eat for dinner.
Yeah.
That kind of hits both categories.
It does.
I'm trying to think of one I do.
There has to be one that I do. I feel bad that I can't think of it in the moment.
Like so this is gonna sound weird. Now that I think about it, it's like when I get a sub from like Subway or anywhere really. Like I always get turkey. I'm a big turkey guy. Mm-hmm. Every once in a while, I'll throw an Italian, but with getting older, I'm like trying to cut off some of the like red lunch meats and like red meat lunch meats because they're not good for you. In particular, they're like really high in cholesterol. So I'm like a big turkey guy. I literally get turkey, onions, cheese, mayo, vinegar, and oil, and that's it.
Yeah, it wouldn't be my choice of sandwich, for sure.
And I know I've seen people like when I'm in line at Subway and I'm getting it, and they're just like kind of like, doing one of these, like either looking back or looking forward to like, that's fucking weird.
Yeah.
Like that's a weird combination but as how I eat it, not necessarily, but just like a weird combination of like going to a specific restaurant. That's like what I get there.
Yeah. I take some heat from a few people about, apparently I put salsa on too many things or things that maybe I should not. So like have you ever put salsa on eggs?
Yeah.
That seems very common to me, right?
Yeah,
but I take a lot of shit.
Burritos.
Yeah, I take a lot of shit for like salsa on eggs or...
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I put ketchup on eggs sometimes.
Oh, God. Maybe when I was like 5, but yeah.
Yeah, salsa, really? You can't put too much. Like, there's some things you shouldn't put salsa on, but there's not a lot of things that are bad with salsa on it.
Yeah, I think it always adds flavor to most things. I don't do it on anything else that's like... I mean, eggs is the weirdest thing I can think of that it goes on, and that's not even weird to me, personally.
I've been told I do chopsticks weird.
Oh, dude, I mean... I don't even know how to do chopsticks. Really.
I mean, I do a really good job. Like, they're firm, but, like, I was told that how I hold them is not exactly how you should be holding them.
Yeah.
But I still get away with it.
Probably, okay, so there's two things. One, I think a lot of people probably do. At least I hope they do. I'm always trying to get, like, the optimal bite as my last bite of a meal.
Yeah, I feel that.
So, like...
you save the best piece of steak.
Yeah, like I've compromised a few sandwiches or burgers by trying to, you know what I mean, trying to get like the peak bite when really that gives up the integrity of the burger at some point. And I don't do this with every pizza, but there are pizzas where I will eat the crust first.
Interesting. There's pizzas that I wish I had done it on.
And not so much as like a psycho, like I'm going to eat like backwards to forward, but like I'll rip the crust off and like, if I'm dipping it in something. Oh,
yeah, no. Like, I don't think it's very normal.
Because again,
I don't think it's, that's tad bit weird.
That's me seeking the optimal bite again, because crust has like no value on pizza for me, other than that it like helps you hold it.
That's really, I think that's what it's there for.
But like a lot of people love crust because it's like a breadstick, right? Whatever. I'm just not a big breadstick bread guy. So like I'll eat the crust.
Unless it's Olive Garden, I'm pretty much out on breadsticks. But
yeah, I'll eat the
Pizza
crust
Hut
first.
Too. That's it. Pizza Hut breadsticks and Olive Garden
or the Parmesan all over them. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, so I'll do that sometimes too. Those are some of the somewhat weird things that I do.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of other ones that I've seen. I think that pretty much hits it. Like the ones that I've seen. My father-in-law doing the peanuts and Coca-Cola, which, by the way, I judge, and I judge heavily. It's actually not that bad. It's pretty good. Like the sweetness of the Coca-Cola, salty, and he drinks the Coke and eats the peanuts. Like it's not like he throws them in there. Oh. Dude, I'm telling you, I thought it was crazy, and it's actually pretty good. They went to Europe and they were riding in a train, and apparently someone made a comment about it, and like the guy tried it on the train and he was like, "This is pretty good." I think they were in England.
That's American ingenuity right there.
They were in England, and this guy's looking over like, "What the fuck is this guy doing?" And then he tries it. He's like, "You know what? It's actually not that bad.
Well,
it's not bad."
I don't know if you can trust the Brits with food tastes, but
what is that? What's that stuff called? Calamite or whatever. It comes off like the bottom of barrels. They eat it like on bread and shit. Like them and Australians do it, dude. It's like salty, creamy. Oh, it's
Vegemite?
Vegemite. That's what it is, dude. Calamite. I mean, it might as well be called calamite. Cantmite.
Yeah,
like, I don't know. Who the hell knows? But it's, Vegemite. Dude, like, anybody that eats that cannot be trusted with food.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried it, by the way?
No. It just looks like not good, so I'm not going to have it. I don't even...
Hey, I got one more, and this probably stretches pretty far. Well, not really, because you think about how many people have served in our armed forces and stuff. But have you ever seen someone from the military eat? Dude, you look, food's there. You look, back, food's gone. Because...
It's efficiency, man.
Because they don't have a lot of time to eat. Yeah. Like, when you're in basic and any kind of camp, like, you get X amount of minutes, and it's not very long to eat. Like, you have to eat quickly. Like, well, my boy John, he went to basic. Like, he was always a fast eater. I mean, he's a big guy. But, like, he came back from basic, dude. We went out to eat, and it was just like, oh, like, get the food, and, like, look over, it's fucking gone, dude. Like, it's just like 2 minutes later, it's gone. Like, long gone. And he's like, sorry, we had to eat in, like, 5 minutes when I was in basic training. I'm like, holy shit. Like, and it's not like a little bit of food, dude. It's like a whole gigantic meal is just gone. Deleted from the plate. Like, I always found that to be like not odd. I guess it's kind of odd because I'm not a slow eater, but I also like I like to enjoy my food. That's right.
Yeah.
You know, I'm never the last one done, but I'm also never the first one done.
I'd say I'm frequently the last one done.
You are a slow eater.
Part of it too is it takes me so long to like compose my plate. Like, that's truly where the struggle is.
Do you not like your food touching?
No, I don't mind.
Because that's
at
another
all.
one that's like people are weird about. They're like, dude, how do you just slop?
I grew up that way, and I used to. My parents always told me that I used to like, not necessarily like eat in a clockwise order, but like I had an order to eating my food.
Oh, interesting.
And this is again trying to get the perfect bite. Like,
yeah,
I would eat like the stuff I didn't like first, and then move. You know what I mean?
See, to me, like people that don't like their foods mixing, I'm like, how do you have a plate that like food doesn't eventually?
Yeah,
mix?
that doesn't bother me at all.
But like, there's some people that I know people that have to have like plates with like separators because like the third food touches, they're out on it, like done.
Yeah.
Like if their mac and cheese touches their corn, out, done. Like they will not eat it.
Yeah. Speaking of corn, we passed up probably your weirdest one, the way you eat corn on the cob.
Oh yeah, I have no rhyme or rhythm, dude. It's just like chunk here, chunk there. That is my weird one, dude. I have no like. I don't go like across and then around. Like I don't go like around.
No, as you're an animal.
Like I just go chunk, chunk, chunk. And my kids, we had it like 2 weeks ago, dude. My kids do it now. Like we look like a bunch of like serial killers eating corn at our table.
Good. That's not good.
Like I was like, it hit me. I was like, oh, we're eating corn. Like I want to see how people eat it. And I'm looking around and like all my kids were just taking chunks out of everywhere. No rhyme or rhythm to how they're eating it.
Can't
and I take full blame for that, by the way.
At least you're an honest man taking responsibility for that.
That's probably my one where someone would see me eating corn and be like, that's odd.
That's the one for sure.
But shout out to Danielle. Yeah, I know, me too. Shout out to Danielle and Seth bringing that up. That was I still don't know how she eats Chipotle that way. It doesn't quite register with me, but
no,
she swears she gets the perfect bite every time. So
I don't subscribe to the people that like freaking like KitchenAid their bowls, like they straight
that's
the shit out of it to where it's just like you don't even know what's what in it.
I mean, I like to keep mine somewhat intact.
Yeah, you got to give it like a loose, like kind of turn. You
getting
know,
the rice mixed in there a little bit. Like you got to get the rice up towards the top a little bit because who was just like plain rice at the bottom?
Well, and it's like sometimes you get like one side has all the sour cream and the sauce
sometimes
all
it gets
here.
a little.
You got to balance it.
I mean, you had a run in with Chipotle like 2 weeks ago, which is hilarious.
Yeah, I got to use I'm going to be having Chipotle this weekend because I got a freebie to burn from that.
By the way, if you are not from Cincinnati and you listen to the show and you're ever up here, specifically the north side of the city, don't eat Chipotle up here. Dude, it's the worst. We have, per capita, the worst Chipotles in the world.
Per capita.
I mean, like if you get a top 10 of worst Chipotles in the world, we have 5 of them.
It's possible.
Like, we literally have 5 of them. None of them are good. You have to drive 20 minutes to get to a good one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a pretty forgiving person and pretty, I'm not one to kind of go full Karen, but it had to be done on this one. It was a fucking disgrace.
When you did that, I was like, when's the last restaurant I did that to? You ready? Fucking Chipotle.
Yeah.
We came back from a Bengals game like 2 years ago, and I opened my bowl, dude. I swear to God, I had 4 kernels of rice in it. I don't even know what rice are called. Kernels,
Not
grains,
kernels.
grains.
I guess grains, yeah.
Like I had 4 grains of rice in it. Like maybe a dash of salsa, like maybe.
Yeah.
And a scoop of chicken. And that was like, and I'm like, this is definitely not. And it was the same one you got it from. And I was like, dude.
Yeah, like, I mean, for anyone listening, you know how the Chipotle Bowl has like the inner, like, rim? So there's like the full rim, then there's like the little inner oval.
Yeah.
This thing was below the inner oval.
Yeah, it was bad.
It was horrible.
It was bad.
Horrible.
And you're probably sitting there thinking to yourself, well, how many Chipotles do you have? If you have one, yeah. No, we've got like 5 in a 10 square mile area, and they're all terrible. Terrible. Man. It just, you would think the odds of us having 5 in a 10-mile area that we would have like at least one good one. We don't. I mean, there you go.
Like I said in the tweet, we used to live in a proper country.
We did. Where carry-out food was guaranteed to be good. Not anymore.
Ugh.
DoorDash ruined that.
Yeah, no doubt.
So, all right.
Well, my 32 ounces of water's gone.
It is. And I didn't get the 4 beers, but I did 2. I'm trying to watch my calories. 2 will be good enough.
Well, that's good because Miller Lite, just 96 calories.
Yeah, I'm in
great taste.
40 minutes on the treadmill. These things will be burned off tomorrow.
Yeah, that's all it takes. All right. Everybody, thank you for listening. Please subscribe, rate, and review the show. Helps us out a ton. We will be back next week after the Mexico Open. And maybe a golf fitting. I don't know. I haven't decided what I'm doing yet. We'll see.
Can't wait to hear about that.
Yeah. All right. Cheers.
See ya. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Back 9 Six-Pack. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Back 9 Six-Pack for all your content needs. We'll see you guys next week. Cheers.